Hey, what's up everybody? We are back again, and against my better judgment, we are once again going to be talking about the trap metal scene, although to be honest with you, in recent times I have been trying to avoid it for the most part.
Black glass was a concept where it's, if you look at it from a person's standpoint, black glass is like a concept.
Moolah. Because basically every time I have an opinion about the scene, I have a bunch of people coming after me saying that I got an ego, that I switched up.
All right, quit. Do the crip walk, man. Do the crip. This nigga did a ugly crip walk.
That I'm not allowed to speak on it anymore because I went mainstream and I sold out for views. But you know what, guys? I'm going to make a video very soon where I'm going to explain everything that's been going on behind the scenes when it comes to the trap metal scene.
Twisted has become a locale.
You are a massive weirdo, bro. You've been making hate videos on motherfuckers for 2 years and have a pathetic 20k subscribers to show for it. Ha ha ha. You post videos with ketchup on you for 100 likes. That is pitiful, bro. Not a soul in the world knows who you are. Google my net worth. I've made more in the last month than you have in your entire pathetic life. Me and Macy are rich and famous. You're a failed YouTuber with 20k subscribers who talks badly about people and still can't find success. Kill yourself immediately and give up, boy. P.S. If that video isn't down in 24 hours, my label is taking that video down and striking your pathetic channel. That's a genuine DM that I got from Nest the Kid. This guy is an interesting fellow, I gotta say.
I was a young boy, my father.
And everything I've kind of gone through in the last couple years when it comes to dealing with these type of artists.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
It's not really to kick up drama or tear anybody down like that. I just want to kind of talk about my experience so everybody can kind of know what has been going on with the stuff that you don't see. But let's be honest, people are going to be mad no matter what. People are always going to be mad at me. I'm starting to accept that. But anyways, today we're going to talk about Mvko. If you don't know Mvko, well, he's not really that popular of a rapper. He basically got famous in the trap metal community a couple years ago for working with people like Witch House 40k, Sinister, and people like that. And of course, he had a very big part to play in the whole Underground's Darkest Secret video that came out, I think, about a month ago at this point, because he was the biggest artist that was involved with the whole situation. He pulled up to do a feature on the song. He ended up getting a boner when he hugged a young girl. After that, he ended up getting really drunk and pretending like he was the hero of the situation. He ended up reaching out to me and saying that he didn't want any part to play in it, and now you're basically caught up on the man, the myth, the legend, Mvko. Ever since then, he's basically been saying he's going to quit music and step away, while also talking about how 2025 is going to be his biggest year ever. He's basically testing the waters to see if people still care about that situation or if he's going to be able to come back. In my opinion, nobody ever gets canceled when it comes to the underground, and honestly, I think you should probably just come back to making music. I don't think anybody's really going to care about that in a couple months, and that's coming from the guy who actually made the video. But it turns out that I might have started a little bit of shit, because after Mvko got exposed in that video, one of his former collaborators named Young Teardrop ended up coming out and saying that Mvko had scammed him in the past. He starts off by posting on his stories saying, "I need to make something clear. Mvko has scammed me on royalties on Dead Inside for a couple years now without me knowing. He came clean and told me, and we worked out a half-assed deal to pay me in the long run when dude has the money to pay me. He just paid me $2,000 of the $10,000 that he owes me, but if you're wondering why I'm even bringing this up," he then goes on to post a picture of my video, and let me try to explain what exactly went down here with Mvko, because honestly, it's a little bit confusing and I don't really fully understand it myself. I guess when it comes to putting a song on Spotify, there's two different types of royalties. Basically, you get money for all the streams on the actual app, but you also can get some money for when people use your song in YouTube videos, when they play it at live shows and stuff like that. So there is actually quite a bit of money to be made there if your song is doing well, but a lot of artists have no idea that that's even something you can do, so a lot of money ends up going unclaimed. But the thing is that Young Teardrop actually ended up paying Mvko for a verse. He then got on the song, he put it out, and then Mvko went behind his back and ended up filing for the royalties without Young Teardrop having any idea that he did that in the first place. So it's not even like this was a 50-50 song between the two of them. This was something that he paid Mvko to get on. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not entitled to any of the kickback, but probably 10% at most, because he only has a very short verse. But Mvko went behind his back and ended up taking a bunch of money. And how much money, you ask? Probably like $100, maybe $200. It's probably not that big of a deal. No, we're talking about $10,000 over the course of a couple years. And you know what? Mvko would have got away with it too if it wasn't for that meddling alcohol, because he ended up getting drunk, calling Young Teardrop and saying, "Hey man, I probably shouldn't even tell you this, but I've been stealing money from you for the past couple years. So of course young Teardrop was like, what the absolute fuck? First of all, why are you doing that? And second of all, why would you tell me? If you ever have to start your statement with I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but I am anyways, you probably shouldn't say it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Also, don't make big decisions under the influence of alcohol. I know that from personal experience. I mean, every time I talk about Mvko or any other drug addict, people are like, twist it, you have no sympathy for drug addicts. You don't understand that. Bro, I used to drink a bottle of vodka every single day when I was 17 years old. I'm not trying to flex. I'm not like, oh, I was so cool. I used to drink a lot back in the day. All I'm trying to say is that I understand being addicted to alcohol. It doesn't mean that that's an excuse to be a shitty person though. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol being allowed to get away with whatever they want. I mean, it's not an excuse to be a bad person. It's truly not. I've been friends with people who are addicts in the past and I've tried to have a lot of sympathy for them and help them out. But at a certain point, when somebody doesn't want to help themselves and they're basically hurting other people as well, you gotta cut them off and you gotta move on. You can't force somebody to be sober. There's nothing you're gonna say to them that's gonna make them want to be sober. The only way you ever get sober is when you make that own decision within yourself and you finally give it up once and for all. And you have to find something else to fill that void inside of yourself, because if you get sober and you have nothing else going on, you're not going to be able to remain sober, because all you're going to be thinking about is, now I'm sober, damn, now I'm sober, damn, I really want to get a drink, damn, I really want to get back on drugs. You guys keep calling me the Unk of the Underground, so let me give you some uncly advice. If somebody keeps fucking you over and over and over and over again and using their addiction as an excuse, it's not an excuse. Have some self-respect and walk away from them. Anyways, after that, young Teardrop goes on to share another one of my videos saying these two fucking videos right here. He then goes on to say there is legit proof and everything about everything that happened that day, and he wants to lie. He lied to me about being sober as well, and that is a big straw to me as well, and even countless other things in the video that makes me sick. You lost a good friend today, Mvko. Don't ever fucking talk to me unless you have my money. And I mean, it comes off as harsh. I know a lot of people are saying he shouldn't cut off Mvko when he's at his darkest, but I mean, Mvko has been fucking up over and over and over. And the guy will even drive his car under the influence of alcohol. What happens if he ends up hitting somebody and killing them? Is the excuse going to be he was drunk so he doesn't remember it, so he's allowed to get away with it? No, he's going to go to prison for the rest of his life, and it's an unforgivable act. Some people just use sympathy as a weapon against you. Like, you can't say anything about me because I already know I'm a piece of shit, so you calling me a piece of shit isn't going to help me. And you know what? Surprisingly, instead of running away from it, Mvko actually wants to make the situation right. Is it to try to save his career? Maybe, but I truly do want to believe that the guy does want to change and he really does want to make it right. I mean, the fact that he even told young Teardrop in the first place goes to show that he actually does give a shit. Somewhere deep down, he definitely does feel guilty about the actions that he's taking, but he doesn't know how to express that. So let's see what he has to say to him and if he's going to get him the money back. So the messages that I have here seem to be mid-conversation. I believe the context for this is that young Teardrop is saying that he's going to go to Spotify and try to get his money back from them, but they probably won't pay him. He says, I'll try, but they probably won't give me the money I'm owed though, like you said that they would. Well, we edit the split to 90% until it's recouped. It's kind of up to me to pay you back though. He says, I'm going to look and see what the total is on here in a minute, then we're going to keep tabs on how much is paid back until you've gotten your money. But the way that we're doing it is that I'm throwing you on a 90%. He says, for sure, do you have Kiru on the other tracks we did going on that too? Only Kiru, pretty sure it only made like 150 though. Still money is money. I'm gonna start getting all my tracks going on Song Trust. I got one already, so I know it works for me. So at this point, young Teardrop is trying to be nice with him, but he's also being very stern. He says, actually the time frame is probably wrong, but you know what I mean, lol. He goes on to say, if you have the 10K right now, Colby, then it's better to pay that now so we can continue going 50-50 if you get what I mean, instead of posting tickets. And the hostility came from not getting paid because he told me it was good and nothing came. And I'm not gonna lie, he has a good reason to be upset. I mean, people have died for less than $10,000, and for this guy to be stealing your money for years and then not want to clear it up when the time comes is definitely a pretty shady move on Mvko's part. I mean, I know he's coming off as humble and like he really wants to make everything right, but I mean, after all, if he was never called out in the other video, would he have ever admitted to it? I don't really know. And this pretty well goes for everybody. I'm not trying to say that people don't deserve redemption. I mean, after all, if they end up paying back the money in the long run, that is a good thing to do, but if it takes being called out to do the right thing, did you really do the right thing in the first place? But after all, he knows what type of audience that he has, that a bunch of young kids look up to him, look at him as a positive role model, and they know that if they get the chance to talk to him, they might be able to make a song and pop off. And they really don't give a shit that he's taking somebody else's money, because after all, it's not their money. And if you get to talk to your favorite artist of all time, it doesn't matter if they're a bad person, because they might give you a chance to make a lot of money. And that's the dream they bottle up and sell to you over and over again, and unfortunately, a lot of kids fall for that. And then when somebody like me comes along and calls it out, everybody wants to call me a shit disturber or a drama monger, but all I'm trying to do is show you how the rap game really is behind the scenes. If you don't want to accept that and you want to stay in Neverland where everything is alright, that's fine. You don't have to watch the videos. But if you watch the video and then get upset that your favorite artist is getting called out, you shouldn't be mad at me, you should be mad at them. But you know what? 50 more death threats in my Instagram DM should definitely set me right, so honestly I guess keep sending them and eventually I'll stop, I suppose. Mvko goes on to say, that's a huge amount of money to dump off the rip. I'm gonna make this right. I'm gonna send you 2K right now and send payments every month till you're paid off because Song Trust obviously didn't do their part. Does this work for you? Yes sir. Now it's easy to feel bad for Mvko here, but after all you gotta keep in mind, he stole this money. He knowingly stole this money. It wasn't a fuck up. It wasn't something that happened by accident. He knew what he was doing and he decided to do it anyways. And yeah, $10,000 is definitely a lot of money to dump at once, but if you never stole the $10,000 then you wouldn't have to pay it back. And honestly, if you were gonna steal it, you probably should have done a better job at it because young Teardrop ended up finding out. Mvko then goes on to say, are you sure? Because honest to God, man, I've been trying to right this wrong and I have the receipts for doing so. I know we aren't friends like we were, and let's be honest, the relationship doesn't even seem there anymore. I don't want you to look at me or think of me in a negative way. And honestly, this seems very genuine. I don't know how to feel about Mvko because he really does seem like he feels bad for the things that he does, but he continues to do them anyways. He's a very complex character, that's for sure. I want this man to have a redemption. I want him to get off the alcohol. I want him to get sober and actually turn his life around and be a true positive influence for the kids, but has he done too much bad shit in his past for that to ever happen? I don't know. It's not for me to say. I mean, he could dye his hair blue and then, okay, actually I'm not even gonna go there. That's gonna make people way too mad, but you get what I'm getting at. After that, Mvko continues on by saying, bro, when I registered this shit, I was under the impression that it would be easy to egg you on and that's why I signed up. Then they won't answer my emails to figure out how. He says, you should have did a solo song, then said, hey bro, found a new way to make money, yada yada. Go try and add a split to anything. It's literally impossible. I need your middle name. He says, I think this is how I'm supposed to do it. I think so too. Just label you as 90%. And if my math is correct, I owe you $8,000. So collect payments on that, baby, until we clear. After that, Mvko starts pouring his heart out. I'm not really going to read the first part of the message because honestly, it's a bunch of gobbledygook and I don't think either one of us are going to understand what he's saying. It basically has to do with him trying to go to Spotify, but he can't reach them because their email is too full and so on and so on. He goes on to say, I feel like I've tried tapping in with you quite a few times over the last year or so to see how you're doing, etc, etc, and I don't think I got much of a response back. And I feel like this whole situation had something to do with it, and I'm being real, I made a pretty stupid mistake with this one because I had literally just registered it and I was like, oh shit, I gotta tell homie, not realizing that the edits would be that difficult to make. Then I had a kid at the time and it kind of got away from me, so I apologize about that. I'm wanting to right those wrongs. I mean, I lost my mojo at some point and really stopped caring about making music in general, and my brand had taken a pretty substantial hit from it. I also got tied up in some bullshit controversy, and it was probably the right move for you to try to distance yourself from me. I ain't mad about it, I just want confirmation from all of that. Honestly, it kind of comes off as guilt tripping after you took the guy's money to be like, hey, I tried to reach out to you and I don't know why you won't talk to me. I mean, Mvko, I think people really want to feel bad for you. I think people can relate to you on a human level, but when you're basically always guilt tripping people 100% of the time, saying that you're down bad and you've been in a sad place for over 8 years at this point, you really got to look at yourself and try to get into a better place. I mean, you can't keep doing shitty things over and over again and then feel bad about yourself and expect everybody to forgive you. I'm really not trying to come across like I'm lecturing the dude. I mean, after all, he's a lot older than me, but at a certain point, you got to try to make a change to better yourself. I don't know if you need to go to rehab. I don't know if that's what it's going to take, but honestly, if you did that, I feel like people would support it. He goes on to say, I ended up falling back into the bottle sometime 1.5 years ago, and I ended up trying to shoot myself blackout drunk, and I shot a hole in my wall and into my floor, and I got locked in a psych ward. My gun was taken away, and like a week later, I found out that I was having a baby, and the last 2 to 3 years were an absolute downward spiral for me, and I apologize that I ended up pushing you away, and I made a bad decision. Okay, first of all, probably a good thing that they took the gun away from you if you're gonna have a baby, and also, having a baby should be a positive thing. That should really be the time that you want to turn your life around, clean yourself up, and be better for your own daughter, wouldn't you think? I mean, I know having kids doesn't always make things right, but I would think that any real man after having their first kid would look at themselves and say, you know what, I gotta be better for them. That could be the thing in your life that fills that hole for you. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. And then after that, the #1 motherfucking drama stir in the underground, Sky, comes out of the woodwork to say, y'all should start double checking your royalties. And honestly, Sky, why would you say that shit? That was so out of pocket. Bro, we can't have 2 drama stirs in the underground. That's my job, bro. You gotta stay in your own lane and get the fuck out of here, man. And I also want to add a little bit more context right here because young Teardrop actually ended up revealing that Mvko was bragging about stealing money from him. He says, Mvko also bragged to people behind my back about stealing money and showing off all the money that he made off the song. What's crazy is I made the fucking beat as well. I'm just baffled finding out the new info. So yeah, how bad can you really feel for Mvko when he's being two-faced like that? On one hand, he's saying, I'm so sorry, dude, I didn't didn't mean to do this, but on the other hand, he's bragging to a bunch of 19-year-olds saying, look how much money I make off of music. After that, we got a couple more DMs between Mvko and Young Teardrop where he says, so let me get this straight, it says you got paid for Dead Inside and you didn't even send me anything, which technically you were not even supposed to have any of this money like we agreed upon. He says, well, when I called you and told you about that last spring, I had told you that I tried to put the 90% into your name. Looks like they only did 50%. Damn, what a coincidence that Spotify happened to fuck up and give you 50% of profits when you really asked for 90%. What a coincidence. There's absolutely no way that you had anything to do with that, right? He says, if you didn't get paid for Dead Inside this quarter, which you should have, let me know how much to send and I'll send it to you right now. He says, yeah, but you shouldn't be making any money off the song in general until I'm paid back what I'm owed. Okay, I'll look into it. It's hard on the phone. I need a computer to dial the number in. And after that, Mvko actually ended up paying him the $10,000 all at once. Apparently he knew there was a video coming on him and he was trying to play Damage Control before it came out. And honestly, that is a nice thing to do, but he basically waited until the last minute. Only after he was going to get called out did he decide to give the money back. But either way, I'm still making the video because I feel like younger artists need to know that this type of scam can happen. And what does it tell you that Mvko was able to give him $10,000 right away? The guy definitely has money. If I had to give somebody $10,000, I'd be broken on the side of the road. I don't even got that in my bank account right now. And this is all because Mvko actually ended up selling a couple of his songs for $10,000, $20,000. Apparently he even got $30,000 for some part of his catalog, but then he immediately went to the casino and started spending it all. So yeah, this guy is touching more money than most of us will ever touch in our entire lives, and he's still choosing to spend it at the casino and on alcohol. So if you think that Mvko can make you rich in any way, he definitely can. And honestly, all I have to say is that this entire situation is sad. I'm kind of glad that I was able to cover it because I feel like people need to know about this type of thing, but at the same time, I think this is going to be the last video that I do on Mvko. Hopefully someday he can turn his life around. I really hope he can. But until then, he has to keep working on himself, maybe step away from music, go to rehab, try to get off of alcohol once and for all. But hey man, I can't put down the cup. I can't put down the cup with promethazine. Yeah, I fell in love. Is that the type of joke I should be making at a time like this? I don't know. You can decide in the comments below. Let me know what you think about all this, and I will see you in the drama wave. Shout out to Knife Gang, Knife Gang Gang Gang. Subscribe to the channel, and that's it. Peace out. Bye-bye.